fox hunt these things. They're hidden everywhere, in buildings and all sorts of places. But what's interesting about these towers, of course, is there's always a back door. And experts tell us that all this insulation here, I mean, it just goes up like crazy. You see all this stuff here? That's a huge, liability, if you will. And we're getting all sorts of reports of people taking these towers down, and I think it's the responsibility of everybody out there to educate their community, their neighborhood, about these death towers. And that way, if somebody goes to court over this kind of thing, and they get a jury trial, there can be some jury nullification, because without representation, there should be no irradiation. I think everybody should be able to agree on that. I mean, just look at these things. They look demonic. They look like way out of place. This isn't what you want to see next door, right? These major, megawatt death towers, beaming shit at you 24/7, non-stop. And now they got the technology to follow your phone, like literally with a beam. And it's like nothing ever seen before. And completely untested. I don't think anybody wants to get beamed by one of these megawatt death towers. Not anytime soon. Certainly not on a consistent basis. But you have to wonder if, this whole virus isn't just like a side effect of this technology. And they knew it was going to kill like 10% of the people out there. And so they decided to release like this harmless virus that made it seem like, everybody was infected with exactly what that virus. I mean, it's hard to say. These things are so powerful now. I mean, these aren't like the cell phone towers of 10 years ago. These things are so jacked up on steroids. And you should just see what they're putting out there with these new networks. It's worse than being like, having your face stuck to the microwave. I don't know if you've ever like, just like sit there with your face, stuck on the microwave oven door for like 2 minutes while it's on. But that's basically what it's like, stepping outside of any network. And we've played the videos where we're measuring the readings out there. You can check out the video archive more on that. You can check out different meters on our website, stsnreport.com. We just kind of do a class of meters based on what's on Amazon and the like. You want to do it out there. You want to avoid all of this stuff. Doesn't matter where you get it from. As long as you know what you're being exposed to. Because it's a huge cofactor in these cases. We're seeing the vast majority of deaths and fatalities near a 5G network. And, on and on. You can list them. Italy, Spain, New York, and the like. So it looks like they're selectively targeting cities for extermination. If you're just joining us, big breaking news, Fox News, Washington Post is reporting on State Department cables, talking about the lack of security at the Wuhan Virology of Institute. They're calling it the smoking gun. So 3 or 4 months later, they finally have the smoking gun. They've got the proof. They've got the State Department cables. And, it was no surprise that it happened in Wuhan. It didn't happen on some little farm or some little village, emerging from the jungle. This happened like blocks away from, their weapons lab that had poor security, poor internal procedures, not enough personnel, and the like. And, it wasn't just the State Department. There were, other publications from scientific journals talking about the very same thing. Just how scary their protocols were. And so right now they're trying to shift the narrative to it looks like it was an accidental release, like a Fukushima, out there in Wuhan, and it was allowed to spread. So you can see how they want to shift the blame away from themselves and onto the Chinese, and that was the plan from the beginning. Because ultimately now everybody's going to want to nuke the Chinese for the tens of thousands, if not more, people that have died here. So it is a very interesting story. We're going to get back into the news. And, I think it's worth saying that this administration has probably done more than other administrations would have under similar circumstances. But the whole thing is very suspicious, and it's not like, we want to be Trump haters. I think we were very much on board, in 2016 and hoping for the best and the like. But it's just been kind of like, one bad revelation after another with what's going on right now. I mean, you got the 5G, you've got, numerous Gladio B attacks in Syria, chemical weapons, you have the thing with the Kurds, a bunch of other stuff too that was just kind of shady. You let Hillary go, locked up Julian Assange. You could go on and on about all the soft punches. They really haven't done a whole lot in terms of arresting people. They've talked a good game, but they haven't really arrested a whole lot of people. Instead, you've seen a lot of, Trump associates get arrested and thrown in prison. So we know that the process works, just not for, this president. And you could make excuses all day, like, he's been surrounded by traitors since the beginning, and they've never let him, do his job, et cetera, but at the end of the day, you really just have to, review the performance and leave it at that. COVID-19 has killed 0.0000069% of Americans upstate outside of New York. It's still 0.0000039% of Americans. Stay inside forever. Do not question authority. It's the end of the world. I think she's being passive aggressive, Candace Owens, running for Congress, we think. Interesting point of view, isn't it? Experts warn of epidemic of domestic abuse with 25% surge in calls to helpline. We've noticed a lot of crazy behavior. They say this virus causes stealth encephalitis and rabies-like symptoms. I think we're getting a taste of that. London's new Nightingale Hospital treats just 19 patients. This big, huge field hospital, kind of like the Javits Center in New York, but in London. They got 19 people over the weekend. Full capacity is 4,000, and they're saying it's because other hospitals have doubled their capacity.
Hello?
This is here.
We don't have.
Okay.
They just waited.
Okay.